Good evening, ladies, gentlemen, and otherwise defined. There it is. Chris is back. Hello, we're back. The Ashe Committee is back with a mostly full house for this episode. We're very excited to be back. Hi, friends. How we doing?
Good. Yeah.
What a fucking ringing endorsement. Boy, I gotta
better now.
Okay.
Did you want him to scream again? I feel I'm pretty sure our editor has like a cease and desist on that. So I think this is the best we get at this point.
I punched my microphone. That probably didn't sound good.
No. Anyway, hi. I'm Chris. I'm joined by my lovely friends Rachel, Chris, and Devin's back. We have Devin back. He's hanging out directly below me in the overlay. We're gonna see how the group runs today. Real quick volley of announcements. I want to get this off the deck to start. The Cyberpunk finale is tomorrow. They'll be wrapping up their campaign, which will be very exciting. We're also doing our first ever giveaway, which is kind of exciting. Sin, the GM over there, made a set of Liches and Layers D6s, which look absolutely gorgeous. I believe that's up on our Instagram. If you want to take a look at those and figure out how to win, show up tomorrow at 9 p.m. EDT in the Twitch chat, and there will be instructions on how to enter, how to get in the door, and you can enter completely free, but if you gift subs to the channel, you get extra chances to win. Just a thought. If you follow our Instagram, you are appreciated. Yeah, we always appreciate it. Follow us on all the social medias that I should honestly have somewhere on the screen at this point. That's oversight on me. We're going to put it here, and here. What a YouTuber thing to say. Speaking of other YouTuber things to say, this episode is brought to you by Sheckler Woodworking, purveyor of all kinds of fine, lovely, wood and tasty things. We need to get Devin a dice tray. We do. He's on the list. I also need to get one with the wood burn embossed in the bottom. I have an early. Are you cherry? Do you have cherry? I think I'm maple. Maple? Lick it. Not on the internet. Not yet. What's it look like if you lick it? It looks wet. Please don't. Oh, God. Anyway, mine's ambrosia maple. If you go to shecklerwoodworking.com, sponsor. If you go to shecklerwoodworking.com and use code 5, the % chance, you get 10% off your order, or you can get us some stickers. That money will go directly to us. You can get each sticker is $5, or I believe you can get the whole set for $15, if my math is correct. There's a white version, a clear version, which Devin is showing off on his lovely Switch case. You can turn any merch into 5% chance merch, like cool kids. You can turn your car into a 5% chance car, like mine is. It's almost like you got a nice gift from us. For those of you just joining us, Chris is on the phone, so I'm going to vamp a little longer. Last week, we had a brief little adventure with the two of you. Which one of you wants to do the recap while Chris is doing his bit? Or do we not want to recap and let Chris do his do his bit in a minute?
He doesn't know. He doesn't know,
so we'll keep him in the dark. Most excellent. He's taking off the headphones.
Hey.
Chris, we can go to a hold screen if you need to take the call. It's Zach telling me that if Carolyn can eat food at his wedding or not. It should only take a minute. Great. Okay. So, I believe when last we left off with Chris, because you guys had your own little fun little misadventure.
Very.
It's great.
Yes.
It was a good time.
Well, that's subjective.
Yes, it is.
It's subjective.
Please.
It's not fair. It's subjective.
It is. I'm sorry. It has to be.
Yeah.
Don't think about it.
Yeah.
If you think about it, you change the outcome.
The less you think about it, the better.
So just don't think about it.
Why is D&D now a double slit experiment? I don't like this. That's why we have dice. Anyway.
Subjective.
Hi, I'm back.
Hi, Chris. Welcome back.
Hi.
I hope Caroline can eat food at the wedding.
And she can eat salmon.
Ooh. I hope it's good salmon.
Salmon is good.
Bad salmon will ruin your life.
True.
So,
Doe.
Chris, now that you're off the phone, I'm gonna throw you directly onto the sidewalk and then drive the bus over you. What did Ronan get up to last time he played? Because it's been a bit.
1 week. No. You really threw me off with what did Ronan do last episode? You really put me in a box here. I was gonna go all the way back, but
listen, I know how to establish parameters with you, sir.
Yep. Because I take really good notes, I don't know what part of this was last time and what was the time before.
Can I be his notes translator?
Sure. 2 is ramp, 4 is big gate blaze, 6 is school. Those are directions of how to get places on the Korumvor map. Durganvor map. Raven Blackmore with a star next to their name. Don't remember who that is. Big door is Abjuration with Chronomancy. Oh wait, this was time before. All right.
Yeah.
Magnus, Tech, any Modron can get a hold of him. Malcolm is an artificer.
Yep. You're good.
Altania Nagel. We found on the notes, and you have to 4th door, 2 times knock, full turn, then go in. Then after we went through and found stuff, the door opened and there were shadowy figures in there, which sounded really scary. And they came in and it was like, there's a whirling dervish of blades and they stab you with like a 27. And I'm like, oh shit. Okay. And I was like, I would like to cast Shatter at 27th level. And I got hit with the Are You Sure? And I was like, feel like that's I have a bunch of notes with stories for these people and you shouldn't kill them, is what I felt in the Force. So I didn't. I'm still holding a grudge against... Is it... Nope. It's... Ribaldi. Fuck that guy. He stabbed me. But I turned Lami invisible, which is weird because Goliaths aren't known to turn people invisible. And then they were like, hey, yo, what the fuck are you doing in here? And I was like, I don't know, you stabbed me, so the shit is up with that. And then we're like, hey, we're looking for clues. And I was like, hey, we split up and looked for clues. And we found some. What clues are you after? And then we became best friends. And then they ran away and we pretended to chase them, which really pretending to chase someone is really just chasing someone, just without letting the people know that see you chasing them know that you're not going to hurt them when you catch them. When we learned that Penny is the Southern Harvey, the one that talks like this, then the Dick Fire Genasi, Rabaldi. Then Rahan is a dwarf storm cleric. We've never seen one of those before. And then Holb's Marquent is a halfling, which seems to be like a weird wizard person that is smart and seems to kind of be the ringleader of their little troop of guessing level 5 to 7 adventurers because of the amount of times that Ribaldi attacked me. Through those notes, we figured out that Nagel is the ideas person, and the other person, Atraina? Atrainin? Nope. Atrain is the boat short man.
Yep.
Boat engineer.
Boat engineer. That put the Ifrit in the fire plane in an engine and made it a sentient engine, and then we let it out. And then Firo chanted its name, and I don't remember what its name was. Whoever had a Manu is not into Genie in a Bottle. Don't remember who that is. All of the Durganvor guards are #sus because they can erase their Modron's memory in any amount of time. Because I was like, hey, yo, I got a friend in the guard. We'll just go because this note says that these things are being smuggled. And I know a guy who can talk to the little Modron guys and it'll be all good. It's all on body cam. And then they're like, oh, no, the body cam was messed with. And I'm like, wow, that doesn't seem like real life at all. And
remember, D&D is a fantasy escape.
D&D is a fantasy escape. Yeah, cargo goes down, down, the downspout. I hope down. If you make things go up the downspout, I'm gonna be really confused. I don't have enough brain for that.
I hate to tell you this, they go up and down.
No, why? Then it should be called the up downspout.
You could petition Robbie to rename it because it's in
I will.
Durganvor,
He
it's in
loves
his
me.
domain.
Yeah, all the Durganvor guards are sus. All the Corumvor guards are sus. Magnus is pissed. And I have a pet GoPro named Modron. I said that wrong. A pet Modron named GoPro. Dyslexicness is a thing.
Yeah.
And I'm old.
There it is. I knew we were gonna get there.
Still.
Rachel, any notes? Any notes on his notes?
I mean, that's essentially the recap of. Well, in terms of why Atrain is back in the conversation, Atrain's name is in the notes about providing a possible power source for the giant chicken because the giant chicken was not sustainably
chicken
powered.
It was hard to get to work over any kind of distance or duration, which doesn't work when you're trying to turn it into a beast of burden. Also, the individual. So yes, Nagel.
My straw is squishy, and I haven't figured out how to use it yet.
Is the engineer, is the designer. Tarsi Gale is the other person of interest, and is usually their partner, the person who gets things done once the idea is formulated. And Gale has not been seen either. But yes, you were joined by a quartet of adventurers who had been hired to track down Tarsi, or to track down Nagel, and had been having mixed success. You guys just happened to get into her drafting room before this little group did. When last we left off, yes, Atrain, the name of the gnomish tinkerer who invented the engine aboard the Dragon's Diamond, the boat incident. Similar things are afoot with that.
The Harveys have 2 feet.
Yes, this is also one of the many Harveys that came off of the Dragon's Diamond.
Which they don't like King Robbie. I remembered that.
Penny didn't like.
It's not in my notes. It was like they were like, yeah, the jerk of a king made us march across the land, and we were just born, and we didn't know what the fuck was going on, but now we're free to do whatever the fuck we want after he made us walk all the way here.
So, listen, I need another name that fits in Solfege, because Solami is maybe on hold. So yeah, when last we left you, Ronan, Magnus had left in a fury. Magnus being essentially the captain of Robbie's personal guard, and also the guard of Durganvor. Furious that this kind of tomfoolery guards essentially removing their accountability. Took very specific umbrage with that. So, I believe you were heading somewhere. Where were you headed when last we left?
We were in an abandoned house.
Yes, you had just left this little adventuring group's little hut that they had on the outskirts of Durganvor.
Oh, yeah, so I left the hut, talked to Magnus, and then went back, and instead of repeating all the things that happened, I was like, yeah, so fuck, that didn't work. This is what happened. We just kind of do our thing and figure out what the fuck is wrong.
Okay. When you left, where were you headed after you left that place?
Did I leave that place?
I believe you did.
With them?
No. You and Lami left.
How do I contact them again? Do they have a phone number?
No.
How do I contact you again with more information? I'm old.
We're going to have to start adding an I'm old counter on that. Well, I suppose if you're... Well, you could ask the guards to try and find us, but that might not be the most surreptitious idea. Let's see here. Hey, Holmes, you got anything that we can, anything we can do? And Holmes, the little gnome, still ruffling through some documents, goes, well, no, not quite. I don't quite have anything in the tank at the moment, so to speak. Do you have anything of yours I can hold on to? I might be able to help find you. Use it to find you later.
Anything, like, specifically that's mine, or something that I'm currently holding?
A fingernail clipping, part of your hair, a piece of
I'm
you.
bald.
Well,
A piece
armpit
of
hair
me?
will work just fine. I'm not too
I
picky.
don't know if I have armpit hair. Do Goliaths grow hair anywhere? One of the many questions of the world.
Do you want to have armpit hair?
No. Silky smooth. Let your mind wander with that one.
Fingernail clipping,
Fuck.
drop of sweat, anything will do. Or
yeah,
a piece of something that you
I'll,
always have on your person.
I give him the bag of beans. No. Sure, here's a fingernail. Chink.
This should.
There you go. Don't curse me with this, or I'll find you and kill you.
Noted, sir. I've totally lost the voice already. And he takes it very gingerly, looking at you, and puts it in a little vial and tucks it in a pocket. Penny goes, well, if that's, we'll do a little bit of investigating on our own. Might be worth checking out the range a little bit. We might mosey on up there. I don't know what time it is on. I don't know if this ceiling thing's working right. I don't know what time it is, but it feels. We might just need to call it a day and see what we can dredge up tomorrow. No. Mr. Rona, you're welcome to stay with us, but we don't really have much in the way of accommodations. And I don't
See
know.
if you can find a man named Dimer. He likes to dance.
Damn.
He saw the whole thing.
All right. You got that, Rehan? I do. Okay. Well, we'll take a gander up there tonight and see what we can find. But, not to be rude, but if you need a lift up, need assistance back to wherever you'll stand, we'd be mighty obliged.
No, I'm good.
Lami kind of, yeah. Nope, he's good. We're good. We'll get him back home.
Okay, bye.
Awkwardly exit. Where are you headed, buddy?
To find the smartest person I know, because I don't know what the fuck to do anymore. Thalia.
Okay. Where are you starting to look?
Wherever the Dick Wizard is.
Okay. Dick Wizard would be at the Brotherhood.
Then that.
Okay. Leaving. By the time you exit Durganvor and make your way back up to the surface, it is very late. You came down, it was mid-afternoon, but between all the running around and everything, the evening has come on pretty heavy. It's pretty dark. Once you ride up the main lift and then find yourself in the Market Square area, most of the stalls here are completely shut down. If you would like to continue on towards the Brotherhood at night, you may.
Sure.
Okay.
I'm important. And old.
Okay. You are old. Rolling up to the Brotherhood entrance, walking through that same empty plaza with the fountain. You step into the atrium. Lami takes a second and kind of looks around and sort of stands outside, remembering everything before following you in. Inside, stationed behind the ornately large desk with the ornately large book, is, as per usual, a very bland-faced Brotherhood member. He goes, good morning, sir. Can I help you find something?
I want to do a Willy Wonka and like walk and like pretend fall over, but do a somersault and stand back up.
Cool. Give me an acrobatics check.
Is it disadvantage?
You're still exhausted.
It is, because I'm exhausted.
Because you're a sleepy old man.
Acrobatics? That is 9.
Sorry, buddy. You what starts out as like you're about to tuck into a roll and you hit your shoulder funny and you don't carry the momentum and you just feel it just like poof, thud into the stone. And Lami's just like, he just kind of leans over. Ronan, are you all right?
Great.
Are you sure?
I stand up.
Yeah, your 2 points of temporary HP are now gone from
Sad.
that thud. You're not feeling super hot.
All right. I need to talk to Brotherhood member Thalia. Antares.
I don't have her in at the moment, sir. May I take a message?
Yeah, just tell her that Ronan is looking for her. Oh, wait, I have this. Thalia.
Curtis, what time of day is it?
It is late. I believe this is when you were either
I was gonna say, am I asleep?
Or asleep.
I think I'm asleep.
Okay. You've never gotten dial tone before, Ronan. Boop, boop, boop. The call went through. Nobody picked up. You do hear a... Ronan, it's a party line. Why are you calling so late? You should be asleep.
Hello, Patrick. How are you?
I'm tired.
Good morning.
It is not a good morning.
I'm old.
Unless you're here to trim my hedges.
Did you get your pitchfork back from your neighbor?
I did, and unless you're here to use it to trim my hedges, please hang up.
Do you need help trimming your hedges?
Good night, Ronan.
Good night, Patrick's hedges. Well, fuck. Just tell her that Ronan was looking for her, and I turn around and leave.
Lummy was looking for her, too, just so we're clear. The kid's like, hi, Loman and Rami, looking for T-H-A. Okay, I'll let her know. Have a good morning.
I guess I go to the Twist and Shout and take a little nappy.
Okay. Twisted Shout is dark. I've already forgotten the kid's name, who is running the place, because I'm a jerk.
Jahan.
Yes, Jahan and Lalo are not on the main floor. You do hear the faint kind of rhythmic whirring of Lalo in sentry mode, a noise you haven't really heard since Robbie and Firo went their separate ways.
Do I not have a key?
You have a key. You're inside.
Oh.
You make your way inside easy peasy, but the building is dark and quiet.
Pog.
And you two take a rest. Enjoy your long rest, buddy.
Yay!
And I need
it says recover 1 level of exhaustion during this rest. Requires food and drink.
Conveniently, you're at your own bar, so I'll let you have that for free.
Cool.
Now, I need you, my buddy, to roll me a d12. D6. I'm feeling kind.
Three.
Excellent. So, 11 hours later, you wake up.
Jeez.
You're very old, as you continue
I'm
to
old.
remind me. Your body is aching in all kinds of really unfortunate and unpleasant ways. Your mind is still moving fairly quickly as you wake up. jolting yourself awake. And you realize that you have overslept, but probably a little later than you intended to. And you hear clattering and clanging of dishware downstairs, and a number of voices, one of which you don't recognize.
Fun. Probably first things first. Good morning, Ashe and Shade. Is Thalia on the party line today?
You get responses from Patrick, grumbling as ever, but you hear the sound of metal shears snipping in the back. You hear Lythar chiming in, wondering why the hell you called twice so rapidly. Is everything okay? And just a quick check-in. You get a whole array of good morning pings, but nothing from Thalia. You do hear a ping from Lami. Ronan, and then he hangs up the line and just shouts, Ronan! I got a guy down here you might want to talk to.
Great. Ronan, starting to worry, will go down weirdly hungry, as recently, I forgot this was a thing until I was watching previous episodes, but he's not looking the thickest of boys, even before he was old. Looking a little too lean, a little not his plumpish self.
Plump and
so whole
thick and muscular, thick with only one
Thickalicious,
one might say.
I'll go downstairs and just sit.
And coming down the stairs, there's somebody, you see Lalo behind the bar with Jahan sort of draped across his shoulders. Jahan is sort of helping guide, reaching things on tall shelves as Lalo is walking and is still in a very determined soldier-like pacing. And Lami is sitting at the bar, and next to him with his face towards you is a figure you do not recognize. Ding, would you like to describe yourself for Mr. Ronan?
Sure thing. So you see an old man, though probably not quite as old as you.
I'm old.
You are old. He's a little under 6 feet tall. Looks fit, but not particularly strong. Just kind of like he does a lot of walking, you know, that old guy in shape.
Okay. Yeah, white Adidas.
No, actually, he's got some fairly comfy looking boots on.
Please, they're New Balances.
They are new and they help him balance. Tan skin, hair and beard are both just like straight white, not gray, just white. But both fairly cleanly cut in, but not buzzed or really styled at all, just trimmed in general. But one thing you do notice is his eyes, instead of like seeing a pupil and an iris like you would normally see, are just solid blue with stars all through them.
Ding, you're chatting with Lami. What are you chatting with Lami about? Let's ask this question.
I might just be asking him about Dragonborn. I didn't get to meet many before I fell between the drywall. And it's been a while, so things have changed.
It's Ronan, as you come down, you're watching two people that are not good at conversation. Awkwardly, like you've put two introverts in a room and forced them to socialize because Lalo and Jahan are off doing their own thing.
And Ding is quite obviously trying to socialize. Like, it's not like what we saw the last couple of weeks where he was just his awkward self. He has left. He's back in the real world, so he's like, shit, I have to talk. I have to interact with people. So he's trying and just exceptionally bad at it.
Lami is being his kind of brusque normal self. It's not helping, but it's not hurting. Ding, you don't feel like he's like ignoring you or putting you down. He's just like, this is just how Lami talks. But Ding, you do notice a very, very old Goliath coming down the stairs first thing in the morning.
Do you know what I look like?
I mean, not super well.
Not super well. So,
I know you're
Ronan, would you like to describe yourself for Ding?
Well, I don't know, like if you've gone, like,
I've been watching, but it's been a while since we've actually had full
and I don't
descriptions.
know in watching when the last time I had to describe Ronan. So he is, what did we decide? Like 83, which is really
Goliath lifespan, essentially.
Old for a Goliath. Looks like if he were to be stretched out to a not old height, like 7'3", but he's pretty hunched and kind of just like sunken over. His shoulders are kind of rolled forward, looking a little not emaciated, but getting towards that level. Mammoth skull tattoo on his chest with spears running down his arms, like spear tattoos, and on his left shoulder is a large tattoo. Oh no. It's of Keldar's head. I've forgotten what my tattoo is.
Rachel, do you want the inspiration for telling him what his tattoo is?
Yeah. You don't remember either?
I don't know, but I know it's not Kaldar's head.
Yeah, that's what it was going to be originally, and then I was like, ooh, this'll be better.
I think are my initials somewhere on there?
Yeah, I have you on there somehow.
There's some sort of symbol representing.
I'll find it, because then when you got your tattoo, you were like, well, I need Ronan in mine if I'm in his. Yeah. I'll find that, because I didn't write it down in my notes, because I'm good at this game. But there's a tattoo covering up a very large, like, blackish, purplish scar that just, like, runs, like, from collarbone down to, like, 3/4 bicep and comes, like, down his chest, down his side. Yeah.
Okay.
Shirtless, wearing fancy pants and boots.
Excellent. At least you're wearing pants and boots.
True. Mm-hmm. Hi.
Well, hello. It seems I'm not the oldest one in the room. This is
I'm
different.
old.
I see that.
Mm.
I'm Ding. Nice to meet you, old.
I'm Ronan. Nice to meet you. I'll hold out my hand.
Ding will shake your hand, and give probably something halfway between a bow and a curtsy, because he never knew how to bow or curtsy correctly, and he never really got the difference.
I will curtsy back.
Finally, a roll not at disadvantage.
19.
There it is.
Probably nothing. Was that performance? +1. 20.
A dirty 20.
Hey, dirty 20. Excellent.
A very remarkably graceful curtsy from a 90-year-old Goliath. Not what you were expecting, but it looked good. It looked practiced. The knees haven't quite given out yet in the morning, so he's still pretty limber.
Your eyes remind me of my friend.
Really? Who's your friend?
Yeah.
Not many people have eyes like me.
They're not quite like yours, but they remind me of my friend Thalia, who Lami we need to find.
Oh, Thalia. I think, yeah, Thalia. She's great. I met her a couple of weeks ago.
What?
Yeah. So, yeah, it'll be a couple of weeks ago tomorrow. It's great. She was wonderful.
Because you have keen mind, it'll be a couple of weeks ago in like 4 hours.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I met her about 2 weeks ago. It'll be happening in 4 hours. It was wonderful. She's lovely.
2 weeks ago.
Ronan
We were in a pocket.
He's been talking like this for about an hour, and I'm confused.
We were in a pocket dimension about 2 weeks ago for literally everyone except us.
Well,
Were you in the pocket dimension with the hag?
no. It hasn't happened for you yet. Like I said, it'll happen in 4 hours. It was just 2 weeks ago for me.
What?
Time is very subjective. It's fine.
That's not how time works. Time is in circles. That's why clocks are round.
Right, I've been telling him this.
I high five Lamy.
Thank you. See, finally someone who's making sense. Wait, you're going to meet Thalia, but you have already.
Yes.
Well, you know where she is.
Not
Does
at this
Ding
point, no.
have a liquid like a cup?
Yeah. Not with him. It's where he was sitting at the bar.
Just pick it up and like sniff it.
You also see a bottle next to it that you have never seen before, because he definitely brought that stuff with him.
Amazing. Are you engaging in libations this morning, buddy?
Me?
I'm asking Ding if he's been
yes.
real world, do you need to be drunk to experience reality?
He brought it with him because he thought it might help him make friends, and he's in a bar, so it seemed the appropriate place to break it out. And Bob also sent him with some lemonade, so very,
Bob,
very
like
lightly
evil
spiked.
cat Bob from RuneScape? That Bob?
Not that Bob.
No, not that Bob.
Bob's great.
Bob's wonderful. But yes, I'll be meeting her in about 4 hours. I know where she'll be in about 4 hours. I'm not entirely sure where she was beforehand. I have an idea.
So where is she now? Before 4 hours from now.
That part I'm not sure about.
Where will she be in 4 hours?
At my house.
Why will she be at your house in 4 hours?
Because somebody put her there, and I'm not entirely sure why they put her there. So I guess it did make me get out of the house. Maybe they wanted me out of the house. Maybe the house was working.
They put her there in 4 hours?
Yes, 4 hours from now.
We need to go there immediately.
Well, we can't. I can't be in my house because I was already in my house, and it doesn't. The house doesn't like it when I do that.
So let me go in your house, and then when whoever puts her there gets there with her, I'll kill them for hurting my friend, and then I'll bring her out of your house where you are.
Oh, that part's fine. They weren't there when she was put in my house. They just kind of directed her to my house, but then we dealt with it. And I got her back
to your
home.
House.
I suppose in a way. She didn't mean to, but I guess she kind of did. But it's okay because we dealt with it, and I got her back. And so in about 4 hours and 15 seconds, she should be wherever she was going originally. Probably back here if you're here. I think yes. Yeah, she mentioned having some friends here. So yes, she should be back here in about 4 hours and 15 seconds.
Well, it wouldn't be here. It would not be the Brotherhood because they don't know that where she is.
I think she said she was going to see. Oh, I forget his name, but he sounded like a dick.
The Dick Wizard?
Yes, the Dick Wizard.
To the Brotherhood! And I grab a piece of bacon and I just start walking.
Dick will follow along.
You're gonna have one piece of bacon there, buddy.
I guess I'm gonna have more than one piece of bacon. I'm gonna take a plate of breakfast and eat it on the way.
Lalo has placed. Just put down breakfast with the three of you. Lami has a fork in hand, is about to dive in. You just grab the tray and walk.
I put down 6 gold.
Lalo goes, "Thank you for your patronage." Pulls the coins forward into like a little compartment that like opens up, and you hear the jingling of coins. And Jahan goes, "Bye. See you late lunch."
Probably Jahan, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Lalo.
You are quite welcome. So you mosey your way off to the Brotherhood. Ding, you're unfamiliar with this city in its current form.
Yes.
It is a surprisingly metropolitan city. All kinds of races and folks of every class and creed and race bumping elbows and living together in relative harmony. But your eyes are drawn to the number of guards in what looks like warforged exoskeletons and extended. There's a lot more tech. This is rapidly becoming a technological hub. And as you're walking around, you are seeing Modrons perched on shoulders, and you're seeing warforged walking around and trading, bartering. One or two of them have small shops. They've been fully integrated into this society. There are still some folks that are throwing glances at each other as they walk by, but all in all, you do that to everybody that walks by, so you can't really throw stones. But you are led through several of the main streets, seeing more people than you have seen in probably a decade. The last time you left your house on a major excursion. You make your way to a very large, very fine stone building with a large courtyard and fountain. And Ronan leads you into the Brotherhood of Books. And you see behind a very large, ornate, dark wood desk and a very large logbook, a couple of people sitting in chairs waiting for something. You see a middle-aged man, nondescript, dressed out in a dark gray robe. And he is writing something as he comes in, as you all enter. Ronan, would you like to take point?
Hello, my good sir. I would like to speak to Atronics.
Do you have an appointment?
I will once I talk to him.
That's not how appointment works, sir.
It is today.
Well, that's quite interesting. I did not... No one made me aware of it.
And this is the first time he looks up out of the book at you.
May I ask who wishes to speak with Atronics?
Ronan. And Lami. And that guy.
Hello, my name's Ding.
Ding.
Ding's gonna stick his hand out directly at this dude.
He kind of puts it, he looks down your hand, like down his nose at your hand, and just goes, yes, that's very good, and kind of waves it off.
I will see if Atronics is awake.
And he sort of shifts the page over, puts down his pen, and very slowly shuffles over to a drawer and pulls out a small notebook and opens it.
Oh.
Closes it, puts it back, comes back to the desk, sits down, squeaks the chair, picks up his pen.
Atronics is not in the Brotherhood today.
Where would Atronics be that's not in the Brotherhood that is today?
You could try the mayor's estate. He may have several meetings. He does not tell me his day-to-day schedule.
Is Thalia in, by chance?
Thalia. Last name?
Antares.
One moment.
And he puts his pen down, squeaks the chair back, gets up, shuffles over to another book, opens it.
Interesting.
Closes the book, goes back to his chair, sits down, picks up the pen again.
Miss Antare is not in. Shall I leave a message?
No.
All right. Can I
Thank
help
you for
gentlemen,
your
with
time.
something else?
And I turn around and I leave.
Enjoy your stay. Next.
immediately upon exiting, Ding is going to be like, are they all dicks?
No, just 2 of them so far.
That one was especially grumpy. They're not normally that bad. Normally they're like impressionable children that hear about our heroics and are happy to help. That one was weird.
Good. I just thought I had lost touch with, I would say the youth, but I think at this point it's just people.
Fair.
Kids are weird.
Slay. Ronan's kind of gonna eyeball the corner of the square where Thalia almost got eaten by a suit of armor.
Mm-hmm.
So if Atronics isn't here, and Thalia isn't here, how much time until Thalia is at your house?
How long has this all taken us?
Thalia will be arriving at your house in 3 hours, 18 minutes, and 46 seconds. Because you have keen mind and always know what time it is.
Yes, so 3 hours, 18 minutes, and 46 seconds.
That's
he's good.
Annoyingly specific.
It really is. I can't shut it off.
Fun. How do we get to your house?
That's a little complicated. I think I can get me there, but I couldn't get other people there very well. And like I said, if I go there, I won't go there at that time. I would go back a couple weeks from now. But 15 seconds after that, she'll be back here. So I think we could just find wherever. I don't know. You seem to know this Dick Wizard pretty well. Wherever he would come back from, teleport back from, perhaps. I think there was some teleporting going on. That's where she'll be.
Besides the Brotherhood, does Ronan know where Atronics would be?
In his office. In the mayor's
Where?
estate.
In the mayor's estate? I will go there.
Okay. Make your way up to the mayor's estate. And the guards out front see you coming. They go, Master Ronan? Master Lamy? Is he with you?
Yes, this is Ding. Shake his hand.
Hello, I'm Ding.
And the one guard kind of like looks at you funny. The other one just like steps forward and goes, pleasure to meet you, Ding. I am Captain Ortega. It's lovely to meet you. Are you here to see the mayor?
I'm actually here to see Atronics.
Okay. Let me see if he's in. I believe he and the mayor
Ortega?
had some... Yes. One moment. Steps away. And you see him pick up a small sanding stone. Understood. Yes, sir. Yes, of course, sir. Puts down the sanding stone and walks back up. Do you have an appointment?
No, but it's really important that I talk to him. Because at any moment, I could just fall over and die.
Well, in that case, you shouldn't be here. You should be at a hospital.
Well, it's fall over and die because I'm old, not because I have, like, arthritis. Which I probably have.
Diseases.
Yes.
I only ask because Atronics asked to not be disturbed until his return. He had a somewhat urgent and personal matter to attend to.
Was he with anyone when that happened?
I do not know. I am only receiving the missive that I was sent. Is this about Miss Thalia?
Yes.
And kind of looks.
Looks where? Where does he look?
He
What's
looks
the look
to,
mean?
He looks to Lami and to Ding. He looks to his commander. He goes, Master Ronan, I can only report to what I have seen. Officially, I know nothing about the matter. However, he and Thalia were discussing something in the hallway before she left briefly.
Where did she leave briefly to?
Into town. My jurisdiction only ends at the gate.
So she was here and then she left.
Correct.
Why did you seem so weird about it?
Because, because I do not wish to anger Atronix for sharing his personal business.
Do I buy it?
Roll insight, buddy.
19.
19. This guard is definitely he's trying to be helpful. He's not trying to lead you off a wrong path. He's genuinely trying to be helpful. He just wants to not be mentioned on the record.
So she was here, she talked to Atronix, and then she left. And Atronix stayed here.
Yes, sir. Did not see him leave. It appears he has an urgent appointment somewhere.
Well, I don't want you to get turned into a slug. Because I feel like that's something he would do.
Not a slug, sir. Mouse.
A more useless creature that would be like him.
It entertains the cat. The younger...
Man, this guy is a dick.
The younger guard kind of comes up and goes, Mr. Ronan.
Yes, younger guard.
If you're... Oh, sorry, Sorry, I'm a big fan of your work.
Thank you.
I'm Bailey. You might want to try... Oh, what's that inn? What's the name of that inn? There's an inn that Atronix has visited a couple of times.
Is it the Twist and Shout?
No, it's a different one.
The Mist and Pout?
No.
The Sit and Spin?
Son of a bitch, why didn't I name it? Why didn't I write it down in a place I can remember? Dally, what's your dad's?
I believe it. Isn't it like the Red Sky?
Red Sky's Delight?
Yeah.
You want to try the Red Sky's Delight. Atronix does seem to spend a lot of his off-duty time there.
Do I know what that is?
I don't think so.
That's wonderful information. Where
Actually, you would.
Yes, he would.
I know exactly where that is. Thank you very much for that information.
Once.
Yes,
he did. Atronix brought us there once.
Yes, that is the place with the safe room that you guys went shortly after the mayor's unfortunate wedding. That is still legally binding. Just a rough go of things.
Generally, I've been doing this thing after someone's been really helpful. I give them a +1 magical dagger. But considering that would be viewed as bribery because you are guards and you did assist me in this thing, I will not do that. But just know that if it wasn't illegal, I would.
Thank you for not committing a crime in front of myself or my superiors.
You're welcome. I didn't know that it was bad to give someone a dagger.
The gift is well intended.
Well, thank you very much for the information. I will go to the Red Skies Delight.
Excellent. This will be another 30-minute jaunt across the city.
And Ronan is slow as fuck.
Ding, you've had a lot of time to check out this city, and also now you're just walking very similar paths back and forth. There's a lot more. Your legs are more tired than they're used to because you're used to crossing metaphysical distances instead of physical ones.
Yes.
This gravity thing being super consistent is kind of annoying, but at least it's predictable.
There's definitely been a few minutes of him almost falling because he just assumed gravity would shift for him.
Yeah, there was a small drop off that you like kept walking.
A drop off?
It's only like a foot. It's only like a foot drop on a step, but he walked forward as if the floor was just going to continue forward, and then stumbled and caught himself.
Good. Good.
At the Red Skies Delight. Are you walking in the front or the back?
The front.
Okay. Walking in, there's a somewhat buxom redheaded woman standing there, cleaning off a couple of mugs. She goes, "Good morning, dears."
First question.
Yes.
What is buxom?
Boobylicious. Well endowed.
There we go. Okay. Those are words I understand.
Can't wait for that to get clipped and saved on the internet somewhere.
Huge tracts of land.
Yes, huge tracks. Moderately sized tracks. But
she doesn't have back problems.
No. I'm not gonna make you. I almost made you roll a medicine check to see how she was doing, but that doesn't help anything. But she comes up and she's like, "Oh, good morning, gentlemen. You taking a seat or you want something at the bar?"
Is Thalia in?
And there is a pregnant pause as she looks back at the other two women behind the bar, and they go, "You'll want to talk to Lawson."
That would be lovely. Where is Lawson?
He'll let him know you're here, and we'll see how this goes. You sure you don't want
Ronan?
anything?
No.
Okay.
Why?
I'll just get him for you.
Why is everyone being weird? Lami, are people being weird?
I don't know. She offered us a drink.
Thing I would ask you, but I feel like you wouldn't know if people were being weird.
I'm pretty sure everybody's weird.
Fair.
That's a quote. I'm pretty sure everybody's weird. That's a t-shirt. We're just
Also, weird is subjective, so
weird is very subjective.
True. We don't want to be around any of those normies.
Those neurotypicals. Ugh. Anyway, so the bar is pretty empty around this time of morning. But you're noticing that a couple of the patrons, when the hostess goes back, the other bar staff kind of slip away a little bit, and the couple of patrons hurriedly finish their meals and put coins on the table, and then make their exits, kind of scooting past you.
Are we going to get stabbed?
I don't think so. I hope not. I don't want to get stabbed. Does that matter?
Hope that Ribaldi isn't anywhere around here.
I didn't. Does hair count? Does fire count as hair? He didn't look like a Baldy to me.
That's true. That's a good question. It depends on if we dump water on him if the hair goes out.
We'll have to. Maybe next time we'll see him, we'll ask him.
And if they know that their hair goes out, that's another thing.
They might know. We might not have to dump water on them.
Wouldn't that just be a haircut?
That's a good point. Maybe it is a haircut. As this conversation about Fire Genasi hair is happening, there is a...
Ronan's just doing the thing with his fingers on the table, but they're like little sausages, so it's like...
Are you at a table or are you at the bar?
At the bar.
And you hear the door swinging shut from behind the bar. And he goes, "Oh, gentlemen."
Hello, Lawson. How are you?
I'm quite well. How are you?
Do I believe him?
Roll insight, buddy. Ding, if you would like to also roll insight.
Sure. Absolutely.
17.
23.
Ding, he is not a happy gentleman. He is looking at you. Both of you are getting the vibe that he has some emotions that he is very, very roughly holding on to. It is not a violent rage. It is a controlled frustration with a hint of, and Ding, you get more of this, a little more disappointment. This is I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed. He goes, oh, I'm doing all right myself. Business is good. Thank you for the assistance with this place. It's been nice to have a place to call my own again.
I'm glad you made the trip. Did he bring Lythar's plant?
Looking around, you can't see it.
It died. He didn't water it.
You just can't see it. You don't know if it's dead or not.
True. We were wondering if you have seen your lovely daughter anywhere.
I have.
Do you know where she is?
She's not here.
Wait, is this Thalia's father?
Oh yes, Ding, this is Thalia's father. Shake his hand. He has a very good handshake.
Hello.
Losen has a good handshake. Ding's
Puts
is a
out his
little
hand,
weird.
shakes it. It is a firm but not crushing grip. And there is no machismo in this handshake. It is a professional business handshake.
Excellent. Well, sir, you have a lovely daughter. She's quite pleasant.
She is, isn't she? She is wonderful.
She's a treat. Very smart too. Fast learner.
I wouldn't go that far.
How do you know her so well?
Well, I told you I met her 2 weeks ago in, what is it, like 3 hours and 10 minutes at this point?
At this point, it's like 2.5 hours.
Okay, 2.5. I told you I met her 2 weeks ago in 2.5 hours, and we spent a little time together, but then I got her back about 15 seconds later. She's wonderful. We had a grand
15
time.
seconds. So do you know where your daughter is?
I know she's going somewhere. To correct a few things. And I would like to know, as her friend and traveling companions, no offense to you, Ding, I'm sorry you're looped in on this at the moment, why my daughter has gotten so mixed up in some really unfortunate situations.
That needs slightly more situations. With who?
In particular, a loaded baked potato.
Ah, the loaded baked potato. I will take full responsibility for that because
No, you
everything was going very badly, and I kind of panicked and started wrecking her house because everything was going bad, and I thought that I should try to do something, and then I did stuff, and then I made it worse, and then I made it even worse, and then I made it even worser. And now I'm old, and she had to cover up for my stupidity, like she always does. And I am embarrassed and not proud of my decisions.
And you watch roll me persuasion. I'll give you advantage on it because as far as I can let me ask a question before I give you advantage. Is Ronan genuine in this moment?
Yes, 100%. He
Roll at advantage,
100% feels terrible. It is a 17 and a 17 plus 6, so 23.
You watch as Losen kind of is. You talked over him saying, no, you're not. You're not taking responsibility. And you just steamroll over him. And you watch as the anger starts to flare in his eyes. And once you say, I'm sorry, I'm embarrassed, and I'm ashamed, you watch as, like you've pricked a balloon, he just starts to kind of deflate. He's like, shit. Grabs a bottle and goes, sit down. All of you, sit down. Pulls out 3 glasses, pours out a measure of whiskey, and goes, I don't normally drink this early in the morning. I had a whole thing planned. I had a whole speech. I don't do speeches a lot.
Would you like to give the speech anyway?
No, it's not worth it at this point. It was going to be full of witticisms and me telling you that, you know, my daughter's the best thing that ever happened to you, and if she ever doesn't come back, I will hunt you down and skin you, and assuming that you would have some fucking bravado to it. And I wasn't expecting that. So, to humility, I guess, and unexpected outcomes. He holds up his glass. Ding, are you drinking? Are you partaking of this?
Absolutely. Ding has completely forgotten what real alcohol tastes like, so this will be...
It burns a little bit.
Yeah.
It burns harder than the astral sea juice that you've been drinking. But it's a different kind of drunk.
Yeah.
Wilson kind of takes a second looking into his glass. She's off righting those wrongs. For you.
How?
She didn't really say. Just clearing some debts off a ledger.
I wish I could say I know what that meant, but I was suffocating at that moment. So...
Lami kind of goes, oh, it was something about a knife and some memories and stuff. It was the knife. My knife.
I know the knife part.
Right. There's a knife and some memory stuff. She went back. She went back to go deal with the hag and stuff.
We don't have to call her loaded baked potato here. She could only see through Thalia's weird hand eyeball.
Right. And by the way, I don't appreciate that my daughter was turned into her own little scrying stone on legs. I don't appreciate that.
Question.
Neither do I.
Was that there when she was in the astral sea?
Nope. That was resolved shortly.
That's
literally moments before she left.
I don't remember any eyeball.
A little triangle eye thing that was moving around. Really gave me the willies. Didn't like it.
Hey, Ding, you don't know how to kill hags, do you?
Do I?
You know how to kill hags. You don't know how to kill those hags.
Okay. And you said specifically Umshara?
Umshara
and her sisters. The sisters 3.
Really, I just want to kill Umshara. The other ones haven't done anything to annoy me.
I'm assuming those are all names I would very much recognize.
From your little text, yes.
Yeah. No.
Do you know Umshara's true name? Mr. Drywall, whatever the fuck that is.
Well, might be out there somewhere, but no, I don't think that one ever made its way into my library, but and above game point of clarification, those are the fates, right?
Yes, those are
that would okay. And I noticed because the youngest fate was the one that showed up at the end,
correct,
last week, right? Okay,
yes.
Yeah. So
Umshara is the middle one.
Okay. No, that I don't know that, but it would explain why the youngest Fate sister was getting involved there.
Look, okay. This is all adventuring nonsense, and I just run a bar.
A very nice one.
Yes, you've mentioned that. Thank you again. But I want you to know that if there is any debt in this that keeps Thalia working with you all, you can have this bar so she can do what she needs to do. Now, you two have been friends for a while. Ding, apparently, for a little bit. But if anything, if she needs... I would give this up in a heartbeat.
You gave up your last one.
And I'd do it again.
No, she actually is the only one of us with a full-time job.
And a part-time one.
And a part-time one.
Maybe you should learn a thing or two. Get some stability in your life. Especially...
I have been having trouble standing up for long periods of time.
Well, I could use a good doorman. Especially if it keeps you out of trouble.
I don't picture much of a door.
You just sit there and make sure trouble doesn't get out of hand.
Don't I have to move to let people through the doorway?
No. Not people you don't want to let in. You just sit. You can just sit in a chair by the door.
By the door, so I'm not
Near the door.
acting as the door.
Correct.
I was wondering. He didn't quite look like a door to me.
Yeah. He's better a door than a window.
That is true. I'm not hollow.
Look, if you want to know where Thalia is, I don't know where she's going, but she said she'd be back, and she promised me she'd be back. And she breaks a present to her dear old dad again. She's grounded.
That's fair. I don't know what that means. I think she can't fly, which sometimes she can do. So that might be fair.
Not under my roof.
You shouldn't fly under roofs either. I'll bump your head. Ding, when will she be back?
Are we still at like 2.5 hours?
We're at like 2:10, 2:15.
2 hours, 12 minutes, and 41 seconds.
That's a really neat trick.
It is, but it never shuts off.
That sounds like a really annoying trick.
Now you're getting it.
How long have we been sitting here, Ding?
It's been, it was 2.5 hours when we showed up initially, right?
Yeah.
Cool.
Don't do this to
17
him.
hours
He
and
deserves better than this.
30
He's
seconds.
like, yes.
This is like when someone says they have perfect pitch and you just run into another room and start banging keys on the piano. It's like, oh really? What's this one? What's this one? What's this one?
But no, Dig, without hesitation, just rattles off 17 minutes and 29 seconds.
So we wait.
All right. I'll get something prepped for you, gentlemen.
Say, would you be interested in trying a new alcohol for your bar?
No,
Dig's
I'm
gonna
always down.
pull out 2 bottles from his bag and
Now, my well-aged friend with interesting... He kind of like looks in your eyes for a second. Have we met?
It's possible. I've met a lot of people. Don't remember any of their names, but I've met them. Briefly, usually. As little as I can manage, but...
I swear I've heard of somebody else with those eyes like that. It's just very familiar to me. But I'll give it a shot. I'll try this new liquor. Have anybody else have this? This is something I've tried before. I don't recognize the bottle.
If you've tried it before, I would be quite impressed.
All right. And he reaches under, pours out, grabs 2 glasses. Goes, Ronan, Lami, would either of you care for a chaser for your mid-morning? Ronan gestures mutely at the microphone.
If he's offering, sure.
Okay. Ding, what do you pour out of this particular decanter of yours?
It's the same stuff I served Thalia last week, but back on the real world, the actual existing plane, it pours out as like a black, almost glittery liquid. It hits the glass and it kind of sparkles and just shifts through all spectrum of colors. And it will change depending on who is holding the glass. The colors kind of change to fit them.
Okay. Losen picks up his glass, and it changes instantly from the swirling, glittery color to a gray, like a sea in a gentle rainstorm. That's just like heavy, flat gray, and there's almost, if you held the glass up to your ear, you would hear the waves. Kind of holds and goes, is this a sipping drink or a drink it and try not to taste it drink?
I would probably sip it the first few times. Eventually you might drink a little harder, but...
And he takes a sip. Ronan, what are you thinking of when you pick up this glass?
His regret for being dumb and causing most of these situations.
You pick it up, and it changes. The liquid inside is not a solid color, but there almost looks to be filaments of varying colors just kind of drifting in it, in this sandy colored, pale amber liquid, almost like a beer without the bubbles, but instead they're just floating sort of strands of color. And as you drink it, you feel for a split second, you get a little snapshot of standing in Umshara's tent. And just the briefest moment of seeing Thalia staring down Umshara, and the two of them understanding, coming to an agreement before your vision is compacting and going through tunnel vision as you cannot force air into your lungs. And then as you finish your sip, it's gone. And it is just the same liquid flow again. Lami's drink is a clear, brilliant blue streaked with lightning. And he takes it. Puts his glass down on the table and does not touch it again. Ding, what does your drink turn into?
It would mirror his eyes. Just shifts to that same solid blue color through it with what looks like starlight.
Holson takes the glass again, takes another sip. That is delicious. And I should not have any more. And he puts it down and slides it back towards you. He goes, that is wonderful. Thank you very much for sharing. If you would like, I will gladly purchase that bottle off of you.
Just think of it as a gift. And Ding's gonna put a second bottle there for him, and just I've got plenty. And Thalia's a good kid.
That she is. Gentlemen, I'll be right back with some breakfast for you. And he snags the other bottle and scoots his way out into the kitchen, where you hear him go, "Why are y'all listening at the door? Don't you have things to do? Go on, get!" Is there anything you guys want to do while you wait?
Ding is certainly excited to be around people again, but is also getting the vibes that Ronan's got some things on his mind. So I don't think Ding would be starting the conversation.
Depends on how lost he gets in this little cup, I think.
Okay. If he wants to be lost in thought while we jump back to, we jump over to Thalia.
Probably pretty lost in thought.
Okay. So Ronan's sort of sitting there staring at his glass, and Ronan, as you're staring at it and thinking, it shifts a little bit. It shifts back to the flecks of color change into what look like snowflakes falling in this glass. And then it shifts back to sand, and then to snow, and then to something else. And the harder you try to focus in on it, the more it shifts and changes before you can really grab onto it. Meanwhile, with Ronan lost in his glass, Ding happily just drinking, and Lami looking at his glass like it is venomous, we move to Thalia. Thalia, you step back through the doorway, finish your stride through the way you left Umshara's tent, and Atronix sort of has his hand reached out back behind him and just like finishes his step, and he turns with a little bit of shock and surprise on his face, like he's about to shout, and sees you coming through. He goes, "Oh, you made it. Whew. I thought one of them might have tried to do something rude."
As soon as she tries to finish the step, she will assume gravity will adjust like she just got used to, and she will fall flat on her face.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. And he like comes over and kind of like, are you well?"
Yeah?
And he kind of goes, he holds up his fingers, and you see the fingertip just quick dancing light goes, "Follow the light." Okay. Tell me a lie.
Lie?
Yeah, tell me. Just tell me a lie. Do you call me the Dick Wizard? Yes or no?
No. Wait, yes? Is that
Okay.
I'm confused.
That's fine. I wanted to make sure you were the same person that I walked out of there with. And he reaches out a hand to come pull you up.
When did you step out of the portal?
Just now with you.
How long has it been since we left? Do we know? We haven't like missed 3 months by accident or something like that?
And he goes, "I'm not sure. I don't think so. The sun's in the same position it was when we left.
Okay.
I mean, we can ask somebody. But as far as I can tell, it's the same day, plus or minus a minute or 3.
Oh.
Why? You don't ask leading questions, Thalia.
The last time I walked through the portal with the loaded baked potato, I lost 3 months. And I may have gotten sidetracked in between there and here.
What do you mean, sidetracked? Is this a thing we can walk and talk, or is this a thing that we need to have
Probably.
a discussion right now?
I think you might have a different answer than I might, but we can walk and talk.
right. And the two of you step out of... I will trust your judgment on that. If I have to sit down, wait for me, please. Don't walk on without me.
Okay, let's start with, just before we go too far, I think I made a stop in the Astral Sea.
Oh. Just a pit stop. Just a quick grab a bite to eat at the
apparently
tavern on
quick.
the way through.
No, I actually didn't have any. I did have something to drink. Very good. Very well. Mixes well with lemonade, too. Is this... I feel like you were going to say this is a sit here and have this conversation and not a walk and talk?
No, because if I sit down, I am going to pace the room until I chew through the floor. We should.
There's
Tell me on the
a
way.
lot.
Well, good thing we can walk slowly.
Yeah. And, I should let my dad know I'm okay. I will sending Lawson.
Okay.
Dad, I'm back. I'm okay. Matronics and I are fine. We're back in Durganvor right now.
And you hear, excellent. Your friends are here, enjoying themselves. Including an older gentleman with starry eyes. Says he met you 2 weeks ago. See you soon.
Man, they really wanted him out of the house, I guess. Okay.
Who? Never mind.
We have another guest.
Ah,
My host from my visit to the Astral Sea is apparently in my father's bar. From 2 weeks in the future.
interesting.
And so are Ronan and Lami.
Well, we should get you there. And if we need to have this, if there's things they need to know more privately, we can have that conversation in the safe room.
There's a few things that should probably stay private. Yeah.
Excellent. Well, would you like me to accompany you?
Yeah, you should probably know this. Because I have a feeling me just saying I stopped at the Astral Sea and had a drink, you probably won't leave it there, will you?
I'll just read your full report later.
I'm gonna have a question session about this, aren't I?
Most likely.
Okay. By the way, the things you can do with just your thoughts are incredible. Like, the potential is astounding. The things we found there,
You can tell me on the way, or you can tell me when we have the group together. I don't know if you want to tell this story twice.
I don't know. We'll just keep walking.
Making your way through. The stone city, the stone ceiling above Durganvor is almost ready. It's still kind of in fits and starts. There are patches of it still working, still going through some troubleshooting process. But there's still a bit of a festival party atmosphere, at least down here. But after a short while, and about 20 minutes after ding, you went, oh, she should be back by now. She should be back now. There is a knock at the door. Losing stands up from the bar, comes up from behind the bar. Excuse me. Steps aside, opens the door. Thalia sees you, wraps you in an enormous hug. There is no opportunity to duck out of the way. It is just a hug. He goes, glad you're back. Welcome home. I think Ronan apologized. If he'd come in after a little later after I've had a few drinks, I wouldn't have believed it.
course he did.
This might just make that harder. And he goes, Master Atronics, welcome. Thank you for gracing my establishment with your presence. Would you like your usual room? Atronics says, that would be lovely. If you would like to send up a bottle of your finest, we may be there for some time. There's some adventures to recap. And he looks over and ding, you catch Atronics' gaze. And he kind of looks at you. Looks at Ronan, looks at Lami. Losen sort of points back, and he makes his way upstairs to prepare the wards on the safe room. Ding, it's been 2 weeks for you. Thalia looks exactly the same as when she left.
Ding?
Hey, kid. Good seeing you.
Are you okay? Did something happen in the house?
No, well,
Did it really want you gone that bad?
it kinda did. Bob was getting real insistent that I needed to socialize, I think he said. He might have also told me to touch grass. I'm not totally sure.
He's expanded his vocabulary. That's wonderful.
He has. The other Warforged are talking.
Positive influence.
Sure.
Kind
sure.
of.
Well,
I'm sure there's
positive
some
is
negative influences too.
positive and negative are they're subjective. It's fine.
You're right. So, my dad said 2 weeks?
Yeah. Like I said, time is subjective. It's
Don't
been
think about it. Got it.
Yes.
Got it. Okay. And, can I? You just
Sting's gonna kind of sigh and like
hug. I'm proud of you. Look at you socializing.
I'm
Let him
trying.
go.
Lami kind of leans
Hi,
back.
Ronan. Hi, Mom.
Oops. Hi, Thalia.
Hi, Thalia. I'm glad you are okay.
Did you find Ed
No,
or whatever you were doing?
not really. Found out that all of the guards can make their Modrons forget whatever they want, and that the guards helped someone steal Ed out of the city, and the only guard that I can trust is Magnus. But I have a Modron now named GoPro.
Hi, GoPro.
Greetings and salutations.
Ding's going to offer like a finger for the Modron to shake.
Both hands.
Hey, GoPro.
Yes.
Can you connect to King Robbie?
Yes, I can.
Can you tell him that the adventure was successful and I have details to report later?
Of course.
Thank
The
you.
eye just kind of like it's weird to watch a single eye unfocus. Message received. Responding. And kind of snaps up into affirmative. We'll expect details soon. Glad you are well. Kind of holds up a thumbs up.
Thank you.
You are quite welcome. Anything to serve the speaker. As you turn and puts him in the bag. Anything to serve the speaker. Just
Speaker
muffled
just flash.
in the bag of holding. That's a
Speaker just flash by.
ding. Actually, with that flash, you're still standing close enough to the bottle. Your autofocus is unhappy.
Yeah, no, autofocus is real unhappy right
Ding,
now. I
you
don't
drank
know.
too much, buddy. You're blurry. There's a quick snap, and Ding, the last of the liquid in your hand flashes to black rocks purple blood and a faint hiss of screams as Thalia has that quick recollection, and then it's gone and normal again. Ronan, if you want to roll a perception check to maybe catch that.
I would love to. That is a 9 plus 5, so 14.
Something weird happens to the drink, but you can't quite catch what it is.
There it goes.
Big yellow square on the screen. Really confusing in the edit.
I don't know if this will have anything to do with the drink that Ronan is still, like, unconsciously swirling, but he's soups uncomfortable.
The glass itself, like inside, the liquid has kind of almost semi-crystallized into these jagged-looking little, like, jacks of whatever alcohol is in there. It looks very uncomfortable to drink. Think of it like a mood ring for your mental state at the moment. Atronics kind of goes,
You ready?
yes.
Dad, I'll be back down as soon as
You do your thing.
Thanks, Dad.
Mm-hmm.
Love you.
Love you too. Glad you're back.
I will go upstairs to
Up into the safe room.
Yeah, the safe room. Back in for the rest to follow.
I'll give Lawson a head nod and put down the drink and go upstairs.
He kind of taps the side of his nose. As you all go up. Lami leaving his drink, again, fully untouched. In like 2+ hours you've been waiting. He hasn't touched it. He's just kind of stared at it. Ding as you go up. Lami and Ronan, you recognize the safe room. Thalia, you recognize it. Ding, this is heavily guarded. This is warded out the ass, as one of your old professors would say. It is just oozing magic. And it is precise. It is perfect. And it kind of makes you mad because it's so rigid in this place. Lonan? I'm now mixing Lami and Ronan. I hate this. Ronan, as you walk up, you do see a large potted plant in the safe room that you recognize as one that Lythar planted at Lawson's old place. Just in case he needs to teleport back. But as you all walk into a comfortable sort of sitting room with drinks and refreshments, and the door shuts behind you, you feel the door and the bolt click shut, and all the magic rushes in and completely encapsulates you in a room that, Ding, you're studied enough in magic that no one would get to peek in this room without someone inside knowing about it. It is locked up tight.
Where should I start? Okay, so we're good with this now. Unwrap. We're all good. I'll go with that. That's taken care of. So that 3-month deadline is off the table now. We're just stuck with a 3-week deadline in terms of the time incursion landing, which is going to be on the ancient archipelago, probably on one of the bigger islands, so like Talian maybe. They're finalizing which one. The Brotherhood group think tank. They're actually very, very intelligent. Really, really taking the initiative on this one. They're working that out. But we're off the 3-month deadline now. That's all taken care of. And Atronics, you knew that, obviously, but recapping for the rest of the friends in the room. And oh yeah, Ding, the loaded baked potato is like a nickname for a hag. The one that I knew from your book.
Right. The fake.
That one.
Yes, that one.
Yeah, the fake.
Good.
And then on the way back, I ended up in Ding's house in the Astral Sea. Oops.
Lami I know, but I just want to ask for somebody else in the room. What's the astral sea?
Well, if you think about your planes of reality, like the rooms in a house, the astral sea is all the bits that aren't the rooms. It's the space in between.
So the floors and the ceiling?
Not quite, but below the floors and above the ceilings.
The basement and the attic?
No, the
No.
crawl
Before the
space?
basement. Kind of.
You
It's
live in
like-
a crawl space? I'm not
It's
here
more
to
like I
judge,
live in the
but-
walls. It's more like I lived in the walls. It's
Oh.
actually quite roomy in
Oh.
there.
I knew a man that lived in the walls once. He made spackle.
That was a good portion of what I did out there.
So the astral sea is in between planes of reality.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I knew that. I just wanted to make sure that Atronics knew that. I didn't want him to be confused. Atronics goes, yes, thank you for the clarification. I appreciate it.
And Ding was really nice and didn't kick me out of his house and offered to help me get back because he could see the tethers. Well, tethers. I had 5 of them, I guess. But Ding could see the tethers. And we went on an adventure. I learned a lot. Ramir's dead. Found his body
In the
and my
astral
blood. So
sea?
that, yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, the last memory of our Warforged that was enslaved to him was that someone from the committee was attacking. So, anybody know about that?
I mean, it could have been Thrall.
Oh, it definitely was. And since you went to that guess first, that tells me you know something about that, maybe.
Yeah. The last time I talked to Thrall, I let him know that there was a very bad man named Ramir down in your town, and that he deserved what he ended up getting.
Interesting interpretation.
Could you tell him not to put them in the astral sea next time?
I don't know how Thrall works.
Yeah, okay.
Anywho. And I'll pull out the 4 vials and I will give them to Atrox and say, can you dispose of these?
Yes.
Thank
And he takes, he literally like puts them in a bowl, walks over to a small fireplace that's going, just kind of just goes, and chucks them in, and you hear the shattering of glass, and just this, and he points a finger in. The fire starts to catch, but it is tinged with white and gold, and just, and then
Thank
after
you.
about 30 seconds, it just.
So yeah, we found that. And then we found a cult that was trying to awaken the Star Eater. And whatever led me to the astral sea said that we should do what the committee does, and that's mess things up when it's like bad. So Ding and I accidentally did wreck everything for the cult.
To be fair, I think you did most of the wrecking.
No, you did. You did a lot of it. I mean, that move with the bind, like that was incredible. Really.
Sure, but
That's-
you started an entire revolution.
You know.
Okay, I went from being impressed that Thalia messed something up to now not being impressed that she started a revolution, because that sounds more on track for her.
So the thing about the astral sea is that your thoughts have power there. And, you know, we were talking about Bob and the other Warforged that Ding has found and scavenged over the time there.
40 years.
Subjectively.
Time.
40 years by my count.
Don't think about it. And So, upon thinking about that, I maybe found all the Warforged that we've been looking for.
Like the Roy G. Biv ones?
No, I did try to think about that. Got distracted by the Star Spawn. That was
Ew.
part of the cult. Never mind.
When
Yeah, I got
you-
distracted by that.
Sorry, all of the Warforged?
At least
Yeah.
the ones that are still functioning.
The ones that are missing. The ones that were, decommissioned and Robbie's been searching for the last several months. I maybe found them enslaved to the cult and we put an end to that.
They're in
And
the
now
Astral City.
they're Ding's neighbors. I think. Did that work out?
Yeah, they're in my yard.
He's much more forgiving than Patrick about people being in his yard.
My yard is a giant corpse. It's not much there to ruin.
And after defeating the cult and talking to Tyr and Fenrir, who agreed to stay in the Astral Sea until we're ready, more prepared. Robbie's more ready. I felt like surprising Robbie with that in person would be a lot.
Would be a
And we're
terrible
not
idea.
capacity-wise ready for that. So I figured I would just let him, I'd take the two people I know and connect them a little bit and let them set up whatever connections they're gonna have.
That seems like the smartest thing.
I also have a compass that probably leads to the Citadel.
What?
What?
You have a compass that's made out of baloney?
That leads probably to the Citadel.
Which way does it point?
Well, I'm not attuned to it yet. I haven't really had time. This is what happens when you think about things in the Astral Sea.
Cool. In the back
So-
of Ronan's head, it's just what Lami would look like with 4 fingers and a thumb instead of 3.
In Lami's head, it's thinking of Ronan, but if only he had 3 fingers and a thumb. A beautiful symmetry from these pair of buffoons. As you were, don't mind me. What? That wasn't intended to be cryptic at all.
Ding, is that jug have any leftovers in it?
Sure. And Ding's just gonna pull out 2 more bottles from his
Thank
bag.
you.
That's
Pour a
the
glass. Shoot it back. Is this aged? It's nice.
I mean, it's been a couple of weeks, so kind of.
Yeah, fresh. Freshly whatever.
It was what the house gave me when I asked for a good gift. So it's whatever it thought was the nicest.
Lovely. How's Carpet doing?
He's happy. He gets to go out a little bit more. He likes
Bet he
to
enjoys that.
visit all of the Warforged. It's been, well, nice is subjective, but
Been a lot of
I suppose it's
social.
nice.
Are you okay? Are you okay with all the social? We can go to the Brotherhood. There's a lot of books, and no one will talk to you.
That does sound nice, but
That was where the grumpy man was.
oh no, I don't want that. Seems like there's a lot of dicks there, including
He's
your
a
boss, from
sweetie.
what you've told me.
You just
Atronics just kind of
Diggs will look over and be like, oh, are you the dick wizard?
This is my boss, Ding, Atronics. He's very nice, and he was helping me make sure I got back and forth from the little big potatoes domain back to the material plane.
I mean, you did get lost in that.
Not entirely my fault.
No, but he was the one trying to do it.
Mr. Ding.
Anyway, yes.
And he's sitting in the chair with his hands kind of steepled, looking directly in your face with an intensity that kind of makes you uncomfortable. That starts to like really set, like he's staring deeper into you, just not into your eyes. He goes, "How old are you, Ding?"
65, 2 months, 3 days. I won't get into the hours, but that's by my accounting. I'm not quite sure how it lines up here.
Your eyes, is that a family trait?
No. They didn't used to look like this. That's if you spend decades in the astral sea, it does some things to you.
I'm sure it does. There was one
Speaking
thing.
of which,
Sorry, go ahead.
Speaking of which, Ronan, you would notice that Thalia's eyes have changed a little bit. They used to be like mostly gold, and now there's like a little bit of dusk, like darker purple, and a little bit of starlight. Like the gold has turned into like starlight amidst everything. Still like normal pupils, still normal like everything, but it's shifted a little more to dusk into starlight.
And Charles goes, "I have a number of questions for you, Mr. Ding. Because I've never heard of anybody else with eyes like yours. And suddenly, all of you, except Lami, who has no magical senses whatsoever, you hear a snap. And all of your heads instinctively whip towards the door as one of the wards has gone off. And a small ruby that was embedded in the wall starts to glow. Tronic stands up. Shit! Goes over, peeks out the peephole. Were any of you expecting guests?
Literally everybody I know is in this room.
What kind of guests?
Looks like
That's rude. You know Bob.
That's true, but if you ask him, he's not people.
No,
His
that was
words
what.
stop.
That was no. Bob didn't say that. That was unless. Oh no, did he adopt that way of thinking? Oh no, Bob.
It's fine.
looks
I think they say it to make me comfortable.
looks like a gaudily dressed. Is that a halfling? I can't see the ears. He's shaking too much. Are any of you expecting a small friend?
I made a small friend.
Is he with you? He motions you over to the doorstop.
Is it Holbs?
Peeking out, you see a small, gaudily dressed halfling basically strapped down to the staircase as pieces of the rug and the carpet runner have wrapped around him and are pulling him, and he's actively trying to fight his way out of its grip. It's Holbs.
Okay. Yes, I know this halfling. His name is Holbs.
Holbs. Oh. Should I... What are we doing with him?
I guess you could have your carpet stop eating him and just tell him to hang out for a minute until we're done talking.
Right. Walks over, takes out, like opens up a small wooden box that has like this golden grill piece on it. He picks it up. He goes, "Sir, this is a private meeting space. Please leave." And he points a finger at the ruby and it stops flashing. And Ronan, through the peephole, you hear the fabric kind of settling back to the way it was. And Holmes just goes,
I'm terribly sorry, sir. I'm looking for Mr. Ronan. Is he with you? It's very urgent.
I mean, I guess I can go talk to him, and then he can talk to us in front of us.
Mr. Ronan is here. Would you like?
He's pretty harmless.
Mr. Roden, we've found them, and we think we found the chicken as well.
That's
They're
wonderful
on the
news.
range.
What?
They're on the range.
Like home on the range?
The southwest of the city. They're about to do a demonstration.
Of what?
I don't know. But I
Okay.
don't like it. I have a bad feeling about it.
By they're about to, do you mean like in an hour, in like 5 minutes?
The whole building shakes.
Fuck.
I believe that would be right now, sir. Should we meet you over there?
Yeah.
Penny and the others are on the way, but I can probably catch them.
I'll come with you. I'll look back at the room and just go, I'll be back.
Wait. You're just gonna go on your own?
I mean, you guys can come with me, but she's been to the Astral Sea.
Lami stands up. Well, I'm coming.
I suppose I could come. I've had a couple of weeks to rest up.
I mean, you like the thing that she did is important. I don't mean to run off, but this is the first we found of these people. I just sit down on the floor.
Let's go.
You're coming?
It's building shaking.
Ronan will stand up and go.
Okay. As you all make your way out, Holmes is pulling himself together as the door swings open and Ronan comes out, Lami comes out, and Thalia, you get your eyes on this this halfling for the first time. Slightly older than, not quite middle-aged, but just still definitely older than his prime. Decked out in what looks like some kind of fashionable attire, has like a book strapped to his hip that looks like some kind of spell book. And just regular rings and other gaudy accoutrements, and he kind of pulls himself up and goes,
Oh, I didn't realize there were more of you. Good afternoon, good day.
Lead the way, sir.
Yes, I'm terribly sorry. I'm sure we could just follow whatever that noise was, and we can get this sorted out.
You mentioned a demonstration?
Yes. They wouldn't quite say what. We received a private invitation. Well, Ribaldi intercepted a private message that was being sent up to one of the, a financier of some repute, discussing practical applications of mechanical ingenuity, in a slightly more militaristic manner, and it's generally just, we didn't have a lot of information, but I don't like the way the buildings are shaking.
Basically, long story short, 2 of the professors at the artificing school, we believe, are in cahoots with the guards and kidnapped Ed to use his magical god juice whole thing that Lami and Robbie made to power different devices, because they read the thing of Atreyan about putting the Ifrit in the engine, and they're looking for alternative power sources, and it seems as though all things point towards them kidnapping Ed. Because Ed can make things out of the cool god stuff. But also, I'm not really good at investigating things, so I could be wrong.
We're both not good at investigating things, Ronan. It's not just
So
you.
we're definitely wrong. Yes.
I mean, it logically lines up.
Well, we'll see what I got wrong this time, I suppose. And I'll start walking towards the range.
As you start moving towards the range, can I get a set of dex saves from everybody?
Do I see and hear it?
You specifically don't hear it. Are you looking up?
How up? Because, like, peripheral vision is up.
Into the sky. Not like, are you looking above the roofs?
I mean, I suppose I would peruse, but I'm not just going to walk outside and stare up.
I'll give it to you advantage. What numbers did we get, friends?
26.
4.
God, I love Ding. Already my favorite.
It's a dex save.
Correct.
Oh, wait, I might not get things on dex saves. I might just get them on dex checks.
I think you get them on saves.
Are they saves? Well, it's a dex save of 9.
So you, as you are all walking, Thalia, you're keeping an eye out for everything. You're looking up a little more than everybody else because you're used to looking up to look at Ronan and Lamy. And out of the corner of the eye, you see something moving very quickly across the sky. It whizzes by, and again, that same sound follows it, a couple of seconds behind. With the two of you, because Lamy also rolled above a 20, so Ding and Ronan stumble, but Thalia, you're able to grab onto Ding, and Ronan, you're able to grab onto Lamy, or Lamy's able to grab onto Ronan and keep all of you upright as this thing buzzes past, and you're starting to hear a couple of cries out from people around you crying out, "What is that thing? Are we under attack? What's going on? Has someone told the king? Does the mayor know what's happening? Where are the guards? Where are the guards?" As this thing whizzes off across the city and outside the city limits, and you see it in the sky start to turn and bank back towards the range, towards the southwestern corner of the city.
What is it?
Roll me perception, because it went by real quick.
I assume with me doing real bad.
You can roll, you'll be rolling at disadvantage.
Sure.
Same with Ding.
16.
Say 19 and a 20 for 25. Natural 25.
4.
Ding.
Oh, wait, it's disadvantage, so it's 24. Yeah.
Ronan, you get a sheen of metal whizzing by.
It's a fucking chicken. Chickens don't fly.
Pulled back into a V. Wings not flapping, but roaring across the city way faster than anything you've seen fly before. Thalia, you see this shape, you just see this solid object, and it is not a dragon, it is not a rock, it is not anything you have seen fly before. And it is moving way faster, but you do get, again, the hint, you get the sheen of metal caught in the sunlight. Ding goes, "I don't like that." Or not Ding. Fuck. Lamy. Lamy goes, "I don't like that. I don't like that at all. That's really fast." Why is it, Ronan, why is it so fast?
It looks like a metal flying bird. If I were to guess, a fucking chicken.
We should probably run.
I will try my best. And I will take off running.
Okay. And that's a good spot to take a break because I realized I have run real long on time like a real jerk. I'm terribly sorry. But let's take a full 15. So we'll come back at pretty close to 9:30. But don't go too far away, ladies and folks in the audience. We'll be right back in about 15 minutes. Don't go too far. Bye-bye. Hello, good evening, and welcome back. We have returned after a longer break because I'm an asshole and cut us late. So that's on me. So, hope y'all enjoyed your 15-minute break. We will pick up shortly after we left off with our dear friends hauling ass through the streets of the city. Anybody want to run ahead of Ronan, or do we want Ronan to set the pace?
Ronan doesn't set good pace.
Ding's
My movement speed is 20.
I'm just following with whatever the majority of people are doing.
Fi will probably go her full 30. And like she won't hold back.
Okay. Lami's gonna stick with you, Ronan, I think. And Holbs is going to be moving pretty quickly. Thalia, you're watching as he pulls out some kind of small, basically like a needle floating in a small bowl of water. Every couple of blocks, he pulls it out and checks it, and keeps moving forward towards the range, like he's checking a spell. Actually, you would probably recognize this. This is like a locate object that he's trying to keep an active track on. So he's trying to move quick and keep an eye on what's going on here. The rest of you, as you guys are moving, you'll start falling further. The three of you. What's your speed, Ding?
30.
Okay. So do you want to keep up with Ellie, or do you want to stick with Ronan?
Yeah, if somebody's sprinting ahead, he's probably gonna stick with whoever's
Okay.
like at the front.
So you guys get a little bit separated as you're moving through, and you're running through streets. It's mostly empty, as folks are all just taking cover. You're seeing toppled over baskets, some of the stands that are open at this point in the day. There's a couple of times where fruit has just been kind of knocked over, but as you're moving through, it's not... You're able to take a little bit of time and make sure you're not tripping and falling as you're running through these streets in disarray. Nothing's on fire, nothing is broken, everything is just scattered. But as you get to the southwestern gate, the gate to the range, Thalia, you, Holbs, and Ding get there first. And you see a pretty heavy-looking blockade. About a dozen guards standing there. Only the sergeants and only the sergeant on duty and the other two, like mid-ranking sergeants, are in their exosuits. Everyone else is just in regular guard plate. But as you approach, the guards sort of cross their spears and their shields against each other, blocking this gateway. And you hear one of the sergeants go, "Ma'am, there's a private demonstration. This gateway is closed for now until the demonstration is completed, for your safety."
Oh, like the safety that just whizzed past us several feet, hundreds of feet back?
I believe that is the demonstration in question, ma'am.
Correct. So your blockade is not doing anything.
He kind of looks up and goes, "I understand it seems that way, ma'am. But that, I don't know if that was an intended part of the demonstration." Ma'am, I'm under orders to keep this area secure.
By whom?
By my captain. I can get it for you if you'd like.
Look. I'm just saying. That shook the whole city. And it's gonna get back to a lot of people. Including myself. And those two gentlemen. Part of the Ashe and Shade Committee.
And you see a couple of the guards in the line kind of look back and forth, like looking at each other, suddenly questioning their position in a phalanx in front of the people who liberated the city beneath. They kind of look at each other.
So, given that the city was just shaking, I have safety concerns. I would just like to be on hand in case something has gone dreadfully wrong, because that does not seem correct. Or it does not seem like it has gone through the correct channels to be approved, because something like this, where it's shaking and disrupting the entire city and many people's livelihoods, would probably not go through approval without there being a public notification of such a disturbance. So, therefore, there's something has probably either gone wrong or has been improperly done.
Can you roll? I'll let you pick intimidation or persuasion.
I'll do persuasion. Nat 20 for a total of 34.
Me. Oh, Lord of mercy. You did persuasion?
Yeah, 34.
He... Christ. This guy is just like... looking at you, and you've spouted enough like legalese rhetoric that he's just like, listen. You can see in his face as he's running the numbers, he's like, up until you started throwing the legalese at him, he was perfectly content to just pinning that on his boss and being like, I followed the instructions that I was given. And then he's like, wait a minute, what if I'm wrong? What if something has gone wrong and I stop people from helping? And also, I want to be helpful to the people that, like, you know, killed a dragon in the basement. Maybe I should be friends with these people. For a natural 20, he looks over his shoulder and does a quick whistle, and half the phalanx breaks away and comes up to him. And they go, sir, what is it? He goes, escort these fine individuals down to the range. They are here to make sure that everything is going according to plan.
Thank you.
Sir, are you? And he goes, act as if this woman is me, but be kinder to her. Whatever she says goes. Is that understood? Yes, Sarge. Just go on. I'll hold down here.
Thank you, and continue protecting civilians. I appreciate that.
If they're trusting you, and so am I. If something has gone wrong, I would like it to be fixed. And he sort of turns and takes his armor and just stands there with his arms at his sides, and people are giving a wider roadblock, a wider berth to him than they are to the other half-dozen guards that are locked together in a phalanx by the gate. People are very wary of this particular suit, and as you are all running, Ronan and Lami catch up just in time to get sort of lumped in with the group. You see Lami, or Ronan, you see Thalia with a group of guards around her, and she kind of throws up a hand to wave you over, and you see Holmes like sort of jumping up and waving his hands in the air to try and get your attention.
Perfect.
you all make your way onto the range, and it is crowded.
Am I dying running this far?
You're not doing great. With Lami there helping you. What did you lower your strength or your constitution?
Everything.
Roll me a constitution save at advantage, buddy.
14.
14. You're good. You're good. Lami's helped keeping you afloat and keep you pacing. He may have had to bait you with thinking about the bacon that you're going to have back, that Lalo's going to cook up for you when you get back, but food motivation never hurt anybody. As you cross in, you realize that there are seating areas set up, almost like a stadium, sort of aligning either side of the main walkway down the main stretch of the range. And you are seeing people, a whole bunch of people, decked out in various pieces of finery and nice wear. Several ladies of fashion with parasols and little opera glasses, looking up in the sky and watching things. One or two of them accidentally looking into the sun and being like, "Oh, it burns!" and then taking their glasses away because they're nobility, they're rich, they're idiots. Moving down in this tight box phalanx, moving at your pace, Ronan. There is another. You hear the rumble this time before it comes careening through overhead. Can I get a dex save at advantage from everybody?
$21.
13.
18.
Ah, dang! I wanted a 4. I wanted another one. As you start to hear the as this thing buzzes again, slower this time. You can hear it before it passes you, and the rush of wind comes and catches you from the side as it's coming around and starting to circle. And you're seeing again this mechanical shape, and all of you can see solid plates of steel sort of folding and adjusting and extending out into more traditional wings as it's coming in, and the rumbling starts to peter out as it starts to turn into a glide, and this thing just silently starts to do a pass running down the main walkway ahead of you. It's not massive, but it is heavy, and it is a heavy object to be flying. And it just comes in on this glide path, lands, and you see large legs just kind of kick out from the sides and start to almost windmill as it comes into land. The legs hit, the wings snap back, and it drops into a run and just keeps running off the momentum as it lands probably 500 feet ahead of all of you. Where past Ed's house, past all of the other bars, there's a large open courtyard space where seating has been set up, pavilion, more tenting. And as it comes in and runs, you start to hear cheering and excitement from inside this large tented assembly. The leading guard member looks to you, though, and he goes, "Is that where you'd like to go?"
I'll kind of look around, Holb's room. I believe so. Yes. Thank you.
Gentlemen, let's go. They're all moving forward, marching in sync, but at a good pace. Can I get perception checks from everybody? Ronan, you're at advantage.
Natural 20.
Beautiful.
15.
12.
Ah, no, 4.
12. Not a 4.
I rolled the 4.
Lami did not roll great. But Ronan, with a natural 20, as you're marching down in this heavily armed group of guards, looking up, kind of looking around, watching this glide path, you get a glint of something shiny and metal on one of the roofs of one of these inns. And you see, for a quick second before it ducks away, you see the face, the unmistakable kind of visage and carrot and posture of Penny, ducking down on a rooftop. And you hear what sounds like a brief argument. And you hear the phrase, "They've got Ronan. What are we supposed to do? We gotta get him out of there."
Uh-oh.
Thalia, you see a glint of metal on a rooftop. What looks like a warforged on a roof. And that's really it. But on one of the buildings, probably about 150 feet up on your left as you're walking in towards this stadium.
She'll notice it and just keep going.
That's gonna be a problem.
What?
Holb's companions think that I'm being detained.
Turn to Hopes. Is there any way you can tell them otherwise?
No, I can't. I'm not good at sending messages.
Thalia, do you remember
A
this
message.
Southern Harvey from the boat?
Of course.
That's who's on the roof.
Oh, okay.
They go
A
by
message.
Penny now.
Hi, Penny. This is Thalia. Ronan, we just got an escort. We're fine.
You see the head kind of pop up and look at you and Holmes just throws up 2 big thumbs up and is like, "We're good." And you just see the head just kind of like, and just like slide down out of frame, out from under the behind the roof. Continuing your march up, you start to hear a voice, a lovely, deep, magnanimous sounding voice. "Ladies and gentlemen, this is only the beginning. This is only the merest taste of what this device can do. This will replace your animals. This will replace your workhorses. This will replace water wheels. One of these will walk in circles until the gears give out, and we will get you new gears and it will walk again. This thing will replace all the day-to-day needs. Perhaps one day we will have smaller ones that will do similar tasks, but right now this is my greatest invention, and I'm glad you are all here to see it work. Thank you all for coming and seeing. Thank you all for your attendance at this event today." And you hear polite smattering of applause as you are walking up into the tent. The guards posting right outside where this pavilion is. And they go, "Ma'am, do you want us to go in with you, or what would you like us to do?"
An escort was more than generous. Thank you so much for making sure we were here safely.
Would you like us
Especially
to
with that one flyby. That was stay close. Maybe just make sure that, I don't know if everyone inside the tent is well. It seems they're talking as though everyone is, so maybe just make sure that folks make their way safely to the exit.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
And they kind of spread out a little bit, sort of keeping an eye on the folks that are still in the grandstands, that are leaning out and craning to get a view into this central square. Looking back, now that Thalia, you and Ronan know where Penny is, you can see Penny, and Thalia, you see a figure decked out in orange and red, like swaths of fabric covering most of their body, but having a pair of very curved, very wicked scimitars strapped across their back, crawling across a couple of rooftops alongside Penny. Is there anything you would like to do? Y'all want to do? What do you do? What do you want to do?
So the chicken's landed?
Chicken is landed. Chicken is ahead of you. It has entered this sort of squared off area, this opened box.
Okay. I'm gonna scan for Ed.
Okay. Looking around. Roll perception for me.
May I also look for Ed? Or give her advantage to look for Ed?
Yes, if you could tell me how. How are you helping? Or are you just being an extra set of eyes?
Extra set of eyes.
Okay.
Said perception or investigation?
Perception.
28.
Okay. Is that at advantage?
No.
Do it at advantage. We'll everyone give you an assist.
30.
30. You don't see him
Okay.
in this crowd, but you do see nearer towards. You see like a lot of like well-dressed nobles and things like that, and then you're seeing larger groups of individuals wearing similar uniforms that are not standing and cheering, that are not as interested in what's going on, sitting in blocks. Probably a whole row will be of a singular match of color. They're all kind of sitting there with their arms crossed. But no, looking through this crowd, you do not see Ed. Ding, is there anything you'd like to do?
What were the groups of people? You said they're all.
So in this sort of open box the
Yeah.
chicken has walked into, in the sets of risers, you're seeing lots of very, very well-to-do nobility dressed out like they're going to see the circus.
Yeah, I got that. But like the people sitting in blocks.
Sitting in blocks all look to be wearing the same color uniform,
Do
possibly
I recognize
military of some kind. What was your question?
That answered it.
Yeah, definitely. With a 30, you're seeing like flashes of metal and ribbons and badges and things. Military of various different natures and a whole bunch of different races of military folks all sitting there, leaving space between each of them. Ding, what's up? What are you doing?
I feel like Ding would just be kind of taking in the vibes, for lack of a better word. Like, he doesn't really know what's going on, but he's trying to figure out if this is going well.
Roll me an
This
insight
is
check,
what
buddy.
should be happening. Okay. Hey, that's actually not bad. What's my insight? 22.
There's a vibe. There's a very particular vibe here. As you walked through the crowd, it was very festival, very paradey, very fun. As you're getting closer to this tent, it shifts from, hey, we're gonna see elephants, to, hey, they invented this new thing called a guillotine. You wanna go check it out? There is a focus and an intensity inside this boxed up part that is missing from the crowd behind.
I don't like this. This is...
I'm really dumb. Thalia, I should have just asked you if you could do this. You have two ways of talking to people. One is when they're far away, and one is when they're not as far away. Could you try the not as far away one to see if Ed is here?
Let me double check. I have to.
Then you just have to point in their direction.
Correct, but I have to point my finger towards a creature within range. So that would mean I would need to know where they are, and I don't know where it is.
You can't just like spin around in a circle.
If I'm reading, Curtis, correct me if I'm wrong. The way I'm reading this, I don't think I can.
It doesn't have to follow a straight line. If you are familiar with the target and know it is beyond the barrier. So if you knew where he was, like if you knew he was behind a wall, you could message through it, but you have to know where he is.
What about the far away one?
That'll work as long as he's on the plane.
Are you comfortable in using that slot?
I mean, I can.
Do you think it's a good idea?
What do you think?
I don't think anything's a good idea. I will trust your judgment.
Did you want to talk to the person you were trying to locate? Or also it's to Holmes and to run it. I think the person you were trying to locate is over there.
Sure.
I will message Ed.
I will go towards the person I was trying to locate.
So you're messaging or sending?
Sending.
You're sending it. Hey, what's your message? I mean, if it doesn't have to be hyper specific. I just like again 25 minutes or less.
And Thalia and Ronan, I guess, and Lonnie. The boys have been looking for you. Heard you went missing at the range demonstration.
That's a long word.
You hear back in your head. There's a weird reverb to it, like he's in a room, like he's in an empty church, and you hear, "Oh, thank the gods you're here. You need to stop it now." And that's where the message cuts.
He didn't use all 25 of his words.
He did not. And Thalia, I believe that message goes directly to you. So yeah.
I mean, I'm guessing I started saying that as soon as Ronan started walking, so I'll be like, I'll just message Ronan and be like, Ed says to shut it down?
Should we do that now?
I mean, talk with the person first, maybe?
And now, ladies and gentlemen, if you'll clear the field, what you're truly here for, the practical demonstration.
Go for it.
You want me to break it?
Yeah.
How far away is the bird from me?
It is pretty far.
How far is pretty far?
You're 500 feet. You're talking probably 150.
150.
Like it is a large arena. And Ronan's, let me give you a descriptor as you walk in before we get ahead of ourselves. You start to walk in, Lami coming with you. Ding, are you staying or going?
I would, as soon as I heard Thalia say we need to shut it down, I would start.
Which was a message to Ronan.
That was a private message.
Oh, private message. Okay. I feel like Ding is probably staying at a middle distance because he's not totally sure what's going on yet.
Okay.
Do you talk out loud when you respond to messages? Like, would Ding have heard me say,
You can
so
reply
I
in
should
a
break it?
whisper. It's all whispers.
Okay. So apparently we're supposed to break the chicken.
Right.
Can you do that from this far away?
You said we're about, what, 150-ish feet?
150 feet. Can I do a brief descriptor before we get into the smashing stuff?
Yes.
As you are, Ronan and Ding and Lami are making their way forward. Thalia and Holmes staying a little further back. starting to move forward. You see that as the chicken came in and landed and left these long furrows in the dirt, you're seeing objects scattered through the range, through this piece of range that's been cleared out, and the grass has been removed. There's a few hay bales with what look like archery targets. There are a few individuals, few mannequins and dummies that are decked out in armor. And you're seeing a few stand-ins for what look like possibly siege equipment. There's a stone wall probably 20 feet high. And as you are walking forward, the chicken, its feathers kind of tucked up behind it, standing there, turns tunk, 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 and faces towards you. And standing on a 5 foot tall platform is a very, very eloquent looking half-elf, decked out in black with what looks like some finery around his collar. His dark hair is kind of slicked over to the side and kept tame. It looks very suave. It's long enough that it kind of curls around his shoulders a little bit. And he is the one who's been gesturing to the crowd this whole time. And as he finishes his turn and talking about the practical demonstration, the crowd lets out a cheer, and you all watch as all the military officers lean forward a little bit. And the chicken starts to turn towards the rest. And the figure finishes his turn and looks at the three of you and goes, "I'm sorry, you need to clear out of here. The range is closed today. For your safety, I'd suggest moving away."
Can you do it from here or no?
I could give it a shot, and Ding will
Is
just
it a
say,
big one?
I can make it big. Ding will say, "Off I pop," and then he's gonna cast Far Step.
Okay.
So he just kind of and 60 feet in towards this thing.
Great.
And then he'll take a couple of running steps because that counts as a bonus action, so not movement. And then, yes. And then, so he'll take a couple of steps just to get himself a little closer within range of...
You need 120?
Getting within 90 feet. You said we were at like 150.
You're like,
right?
Yeah, that'll get you within 90 with the...
So yeah, 60 will get me actually at about 90. And then Chromatic Orb.
Okay.
At, let's say...
Show me what you got.
Fourth.
Show me what you got.
Let's say Chromatic Orb at 4th level. Choosing Acid. So, as Ding pops forward, the staff that he's been carrying, which is just like a blackened wooden staff, you see just this string of runes along it light up. And that's when you realize all of the runes are encrusted in diamond. And in this case, it lights up a kind of green into a ball that forms at the end and then lobs at the chicken.
All right. What's the save on that?
Let's see. That is a ranged spell attack. So I roll for that one.
Beautiful.
That's going to be 26.
26. That will hit. Please roll your damage for me, buddy.
Cool. That is 68 of damage. So let's roll that. That is 30 acid.
Okay. All right. Okay. Kind of, you whip this ball of acid at it, and it hits it just square in the beak, and just splashes, and the entire crowd goes, and you just watch as Gale kind of puts his hands up. All right, I guess this is what we call a live fire test. And you watch as the chicken kind of rolls its head and shakes off some of the acid that's starting to pit into it. And you realize that the plates in the face aren't moving synchronously. And all of a sudden, the head kind of... and two other heads sort of break out from the main the main neck and head.
It's a Hydra chicken.
And the heads kind of curl, the feather marking kind of flips up into almost like a buzzsaw mohawk on each side. And it sort of puts down its head, gets right up at your face, Ding, and screams. And from the mouth of all three of these chicken heads, flames shoot out. And that is where we will call it for this week, because we'll be in combat next week.
Oh boy.
With our three-headed, fire-breathing murder chicken.
I'm old.
You are old. You are very old, and I'm very proud of you, buddy.
Yes.
Cool. Well, thank you all very much for playing. Thank you for going on a bit of a recap reconciliation adventure. All the thoughts have exited my brain. Thank you all for playing. Thank you all for watching. We are the
Cyberpunk finale tomorrow.
Cyberpunk finale tomorrow with our giveaway, which if you show up, there will be a command. We'll be talking about it at the top of the show at 9 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. And if you want to hang out and win a set of dice made by the lovely sensationally.me, you can take a gander at those on our Instagram and enter to win those. It is a free giveaway, but if you gift some subs, there might be a way to get a couple more options to get yourself in there. I think that's really it. Chris, do we have Idiot Scout on Sunday?
No.
Idiot Scout on Sunday. So our next stream will be us again. Hooray! It'll be us. So you get to watch these three lovely people fight a terrifying fire-breathing chicken that's definitely not based off of a Burning Man exhibit. That one of my coworkers made. It's fine. It's all great. So that being said, thank you all for joining us. Thank you very much all for playing and for putting up with me running us late through a break. And we will see y'all fine folks next week. Or it'll be June. It'll be Pride. Or potentially Wrath, depending on how the month shakes out. Oof. Oof, indeed. All right, friends. Thank you all for playing. We'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.